Edgar, enough!
More fool me, eh? Never trust anyone. At least not in this den of... Look at you! They ought to ship the whole lot of you off to your precious facility and see how you... I told you not to move! Come here!
It's all right, Edgar.
Come here!
I'm
On
not
your knees!
going to hurt
On your
you.
knees!
Louis!
Oh, that hurt. Got your room. Come on, drop it. Drop it.
There we are. Show's over.
Edgar, the key.
Not exactly big game, is he? But I suppose you could always try boiling him up for stock.
Father?
Stephen!
What's he doing here?
Louis Sericold, glad to meet you, old man.
Oh, Edgar, whatever next? Chase up Dr. Maverick, will you?
Did I hear gunshots?
So you must be...
Yeah, Big Chief Johnny Restrick, fresh from the happy hunting grounds of Soho and the Garrick, and former tenant of the Great White Bed.
Oh.
Any chance of something moist in a glass, old man?
Why not?
Look at you, my Botticelli angel.
Oh.
We have to call the police.
Oh, there's no need to fuss. Edgar is quite himself again, and Louis is fine, aren't you, darling?
It wasn't Mr. Sericold I was thinking of.
He was always so precise about his appearance. I'm so sorry. How could anyone do such a thing?
Forgive me, Cara Louise, but had you any idea that your former husband was coming to Stony Gates tonight?
Johnny? Yes, how did you know?
Well, earlier, dear, when we were near the glass house, you tried to tell me what was troubling you.
Yes, you see, Johnny kept writing me these long letters, like some supplicant at the gate, threatening to end it all if I turned him away.
And you gave him hope?
Never! Though heaven knows what Louis will make of it. He gets into the most dreadful huff if he so much as sees Johnny's name in the newspaper.
Mrs. Sericold?
Do come in.
Inspector Curry. Ma'am, my assistant sergeant mate. Your stepson, I gather.
That's right. By my late first husband.
Dreadful shock and a bit of a late night, I imagine.
Jane Marple, friend of Mrs. Sericold.
A chair for the lady, Sergeant. So, let's see if I've got this straight. Deceased arrived today on a pressing matter of business with your husband, Mr. Louis Sericold. Deceased then retired to his room after a light supper, where he was stabbed in the back, while the rest of the company were busy downstairs, locked in the drawing room for a theatrical performance that went awry on account of a Mr.
That's correct.
Nothing to concern you there, Inspector. A momentary aberration.
One of your convicts, is he, this Edgar Lawson?
What of it?
What's he in for?
Oh, I see. Edgar rather pressed his attention on one or two pillars of society. Mr. Churchill, Viscount Montgomery, and so forth. He's been with us 2 years. He's made great strides.
And he had access to the gun room?
Edgar is my husband's personal secretary.
Well, I see.
From time to time, we employ individuals from the facility, those who would benefit from added responsibility.
And where is he now, this Mr. Lawson?
Asleep. Dr. Maverick sedated him.
And where were the other convicts?
Safely under curfew. All the gates of the property are locked at 5 p.m. sharp.
Of course. Oh, this would be the murder weapon then. military flavour familiar at all?
It belongs to a Mr. Wally Hurdo. US Army knife.
The American who left the locked room to fix the wiring?
He kept that knife in his room. Absolutely anybody could have taken it.
Well, I think we've gleaned as much as we can from the crime scene.
I'd like Gina to see me to my room.
Miss Gina! Oh, Inspector, I'm sorry. I did wonder, the typewriter.
Was an Imperial good companion?
Unless I've got my evenings muddled, I seem to recall the late Mr. Gulbrunson requested a typewriter and paper be brought up to his room.
That's right.
It struck me as a little odd that one would imagine he wished to write correspondence, only doesn't appear to be any.
Miss Bolivar?
As a matter of fact, there was a letter.
I thought I told no one to touch a thing. Who else has been here?
Only Mr. Lewis Sericold.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Miss...
Marple, quite welcome.
Anything else up your sleeve?
Not especially. Only... Well, there was a rather unusual incident after dinner with Mrs. Sericold's tonic. Her husband appeared to spill it, but I'm quite sure he meant to drop it. Miss Bolivar was rather put out.
Oh, splendid. You got all that?
Just a little thing, of course, but after my conversation with Mr. Gulbrunson earlier in the day...
You spoke with the victim?
Oh, only briefly, I'm afraid, but he did say something rather unusual. He asked after Carrie Louise's health, is her heart strong?
Her heart?
Well, those were his words.
What did he mean by that?
Perhaps Louis Sericold can shed more light on the matter. They were having a talk this evening in the park. I just happened to be looking out of my window.
You're not new to this game, are you, Miss Marple?
How about a song? Cheer us all up.
Look at this. I, Big Chief Running Bear, must brave all for the love of my... Who wrote this drivel?
I did, as a matter of fact.
Not to worry. Hand me a pencil. We'll see if we can't turn this around.
No. We're getting on very well as we are, thanks all the same.
I think it's jolly good.
Well, I stand corrected. Oh, hello, is that the time? I say, you couldn't free up the October suite for a fallen comrade, could you?
He's not sleeping in here.
No choice, old man. Copper's orders.
Very well. I dare say we can accommodate a gentleman on Skid Row.
That's more like it.
Miss Bolivar, will you deliver our guest to the facility?
Thank you. What?
I'm sure you'll find the accommodation adequate to your needs. Quite correct on both counts. Christian and I did speak before dinner, and there was indeed a letter in the typewriter. I have it with me now.
I take a dim view, sir, of those who meddle with my evidence.
Of course you do. But you see, I knew my wife wanted to view her late stepson's body, and if she were to glimpse the letter's contents...
It all sounds very grave, sir. What matter of business could be
Well,
so
it's nothing to
terrible?
do with business.
Well, you were colleagues.
After a fashion.